Hello, dear Starshines. Christina here with Rise of the Multidimensional Human in the Lightbody Academy. Welcome to today's lunchtime chats. For those of you who are new, my name is Christina. I am the acceleration expert, and we are here to talk about topics and issues that are important and relevant to wayshowers, starseeds, and healers on their path to multidimensional liberation and sovereignty. So welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to the chats. I'll pause right here and give everybody a minute to come on. We have people joining us from our YouTube channel at Lightbody Academy and also from our Facebook group, Rise of the Multidimensional Human. Now, in that Facebook group, we have additional conversations and share other kinds of content. So that might be something interesting for you guys to check out if you do Facebook. Every week we have a focusing meditation on breathing, on bridging your awareness to the inner worlds. And then, of course, we have our lunchtime chats, among other bonus content. So Rise of the Multidimensional Human is a Facebook group that might interest you. All right, I'm giving everybody a minute and we will get going. Let me pull up the topics that we're here to talk about today. Now we just had a thing, right? We just had a major conjunction with Jupiter and Saturn and with the solstice. And there has been all kinds of channelings and information being pushed out into the New Age world. So among other things, there's lots of like supposed to happen or will be happening or promise mass disclosure. But to the similar thing between all those threads is that there's a promise of something that's going to be fulfilled off in the future. Okay. So with that kind of frame up in mind, let's go ahead and visit the chats, the topics for chats today. All right. So 1, New Age hype. When will we be ready to get over it? I'm going to talk about this. This might piss a few people off, but we got to recognize that, there's hype that happens and a lot of it is not true and we become invested in it. And when we become invested in it, in something that is not in the here and now, that it often distracts us to what's important in the right here and now. So I'm going to talk about, hype and how we're affected and how we can choose a different relationship to it. And I'm going to be talking about divination. Is it a tool for seeing your fate or for making your destiny? This is an exciting one to talk about. This is something that I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding. So I'm happy to create clarity and a liberated perspective on that. All right, and then we have, behold, as the worlds of reversal and inversions unfold, the prison bars of polarity melt away. And actually, that is the topic I am most excited to be talking about, because this experience of reversals, as in things turning out to be the opposite of what you think they are, is something that is ramping up big time right now. So welcome everybody to the chats. And I know there's a holiday happening for a lot of folks in the States. So perhaps there's, you guys have your bandwidth spent elsewhere. So we might have a small crowd today. Hello, darling Nancy. Good to see you, sweetie. And hello, dear Facebook user. I can't see your name because you in the stream that's happening in Facebook and the Rise of the Multidimensional Human group. If you go down to the end of the content, there's a link there where you can give permission for StreamYard to see your name, and that way I'll be able to see your name when you make comments. So no information is being gathered or collected there. It's just a permission thing. I mean, no more than what Facebook standard operating procedure is, that it. All right, so let's hop to it. These are important topics to be talking about. There is so much hype going on about what's to come, what is the solar flash, what it's going to look like, the new dawn, the new beginning, the dawn of the Aquarian age, right? There's all this stuff getting put out there, and people are revving up and talking about what is it going to be like and all this stuff. And I really would like to talk about that because, guys, hype happens. And a lot of it is purposely, fed to a hungry public. So we're going to activate, I need a better marker. We're going to activate these dimensions, and I'm going to talk about that because there's so many times people have really started freaking out because of the hype. And I mean, you guys remember 1999 turning to 2000 and the whole Y2K thing? Remember, we thought that all of our computer-driven systems were going to crash because we were going by a 2-date year system instead of a 4-date year system. So it was going to be easily. So you're going to, as the time went on, the dates of early 20th century and early 21st century would get confused. Is it 2021 or 2121? Stuff like that. And people really thought that there was so much hype built up about that. People really started investing in it potentially being the end of the constructs that we know today, the end of civilization, all because of a computer glitch. All right. So hype has been something that has been in our world for a very, very long time. Another big thing, hype, that I'd like to call out into the carpet is Ascension, the idea of Ascension and what the 2012 was all about. Okay. There were so much truth revealed, but then there was also a whole bunch of lies woven into the truth that the whole narrative became out of focus and remains to this day as Ascension being a lofty ideal for humans, right? A lot of people don't realize that they've actually already ascended. It just doesn't match their idea of what they thought it was. So they don't recognize that they have. Yeah. So I talked about what it is to ascend to the 4D. I'm finding a better marker here. I'm not happy with any of my marker choices. And that's when you wake up to who you are in the collective and the kinds of energy you contribute into the collective, right? You're responsible for your thoughts, actions, words, okay, emotions. Can you guys see this? Nope, that's not a good color either. I'm not having much luck here. I will find a good color. I use this, and this one wasn't nice either. Nope, that's not a nice color either. Okay, the search continues, guys. I have a whole cup full of markers here. All right. Well, let me know if do you guys remember the Y2K? Let me first ask you that. Do you remember Y2K? And do you remember the kind of hype that was going on during that time? What the narrative was? This is a little bit better. Not much. I don't have black. That's my problem. My black is gone. Let's see what this one's like. Oh, look at this. I'm making parallel realities. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, this one's much better. This is purple. All right, I'm going with the purple. And check it out what I'm doing, guys. Look, a trajectory, faint, fading, not visible, and trajectory, visible. And now that that's visible, I can focus my energy on it and go right there. Yeah? So in a lot of ways, this is what humanity's waking up to. We have a choice in these matters. We are not sheep that just get told what to do and we have to follow. We do if we're not awake to who we really are, because we don't know where our power really lives within us. But quite honestly, we are the ones in charge. This is our party. This is our party. Yep, this is fading again. Look at that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Hello. All right, hello. Steers Polly says, yes, Y2K really frightened so many. Yeah, sure, I do remember lots of people prepped for it. Yeah, a lot. You know what? And I think a lot of the same people are prepping this time around too. All right, let's see. Oh, nice. Okay. This is a much better color. Okay, so this is like a burgundy, deep red. Of course, this is one of my favorite tones. Okay. So Ascension. Let's keep thinking about that. Let's keep pondering our ideas about Ascension. Okay. And for many, the idea of Ascension is something like a sacred promise to wake up back to where we were when we began. Okay. Some people have that kind of narrative. Some people have the narrative of Ascension being a time when humans wake up to the original DNA template, like when they were originally created and in their ascended form, like this. Some also have the narrative of new human hybrids waking up and creating the new world. Okay, just keep in mind, what is your narrative around Ascension? What is the one that you particularly gravitate towards? Okay, so I'm going to do these two together. The lens here at the bottom of this axis is the core rhythm of the earth. This is the core rhythm of the earth that within which you and that rhythm have said yes to each other. And in that yes, you are agreeing to dream your dream in with the core dream of the mother, with the baseline. Okay, so that yes, depending on the time, the time era that you came to Earth, that yes has certain kinds of flavors. For those of us who feel like we've been on this planet for eons of time, our yes has a lot to do with realizing freedom and reclaiming our dream time. Okay, so many of us who have that original, that in touch with that original notion is there with that. And then maybe you came several million years later as part of the wartime narrative. And that is, came as a slave race, or came as a reptilian, or came as that race or this race, Nephilim or Anunnaki, whatever, say you came like that. That yes that you had with the earth is a completely different flavored yes than those who were coming millions of years before. Okay, so bring that also into the mix of your thoughts when you're thinking about Ascension. So your yes is the essence part of you saying yes, your soul saying yes. That's the yes. It's not the ego mind, it's the soul's desire to explore itself. And this is where we go up here into the 5D. So that yes is congruent with the reason why you are here to begin with. And then you have the telluric realm, which is the building blocks of the 3D world. It's atoms and molecules coming together to create in different formations, to create different elements, different substances, some living, some more inert. This is the natural kingdom, the trees, the nature spirits, the devas. Okay, it's this overarching song of nature that comes together to create our 3D space. This is the telluric realm. It's very rich and diverse. Our body is nesting doll within nesting doll within nesting dolls. Yeah, many telluric realms within realms just in our body alone. The earth is the same way. Everything under the crust down to the core is considered the telluric realm. And in that telluric realm, you have cities of light, you have stargates, you have deva and fairy kingdoms, you have alternate universes, you have tunnel systems, you have the underworlds, you have this whole makeup of a whole nother kind of reality just in the telluric realm. So that's like quite literally another universe within the telluric realm. All right. And then the telluric realm, like I'm saying, as nature grows, it creates our 3D experience, which is space. It creates space for us to travel through time. And that's our 3D. The way we experience 3D all depends on the nesting dolls preceding, you go above it and below it. Okay, so right here you have the iron crystal core, you have the telluric realm, you have 3D, and then over that you have 4D, which is thoughts, belief systems, constructs, okay? And then outside of that, you have the 5D, which is what we start calling the upper world. And that upper worlds are things like the ideas like heaven, the Akasha, so on and so forth, okay? And then you have another nesting doll of reality, which is another blueprint level. So how you experience 3D, the energy, the consciousness traveling to that moment in 3D is traveling through all these nesting dolls. Okay, so all these nesting dolls organizing the next moment, organizing the next moment, organizing the next moment. Okay, and then coalescing to the here and now. Okay. All right, so 4D. This is really where we want to talk about, because I feel like the energies that are happening right now during the solstice and these conjunctions, this is the big reveal. This is the big opening that's happening for humanity, is in the 4D level. Thoughts, ideas, belief systems, constructs. All right, I'm going to come back to that and explain it more. And then we have our 5D, which is the Akasha, the record of the soul's journey. It's also, this is also where you are no longer in linear time. You are now in circular or cyclical time, okay, spiral time. So things that you engage with and change that seem like they're perceived as the past will change the here and now. Once you unravel the entanglement and then recover the lost quantum and bring it back and integrate it in the here and now, you're changing the here and now experience, having engaged with something in the past. That's cyclical time. Okay. You can also change the trajectory of your future by healing the right now. Okay. And then we have our 6D, which is our light body, quite literally the blueprint of our consciousness unfolding through the Milky Way galaxy. What makes this blueprint is your soul song. It's also the stellar networks, galactic highways of light. Okay, this is photonic information. It's also consciousness. So your soul song is a tone. That tone, as it went through, I'm off camera. As you went through the realities, become denser, that tone coalesced and created a light map. That light map continued to go through the densities, and that light map paved the way for all the potentials and lifetimes your soul was going to explore with its free will. Okay, and then you continue down the density ladder, and then that turns into the story of who you think you are right here, and then it keeps going. Okay, so these organizing forces have a very significant impact on our here and now. It's just that it's unseen, and we're trained to think that the unseen is not important. We're trained to think that dream time is not real. We're trained, you see what I'm saying? We're trained to think these things, and then we're trained to be blind to the truth on these levels as well. So we have a lot of we have a lot of things within this 4D that are working against us to waking up to who we really are. All right, and then we have our 8D. This is a lens within us where we can see, make contact with, sense, know the all that is I am presence. Okay, that's the flavor of 8D. Many of you have been moved and awakened by the I am teachings. Yes. Okay. That's because this is an actual aspect of fabric within your being, the I am. The problem is it's been hijacked by belief systems, and we'll get back to that a little bit later. But for right now, just know that there is a lens, an I within you that is directly hardwired to the I am presence that you are. Okay, it's hardwired. That means it's not ever, wait a minute, that's a double negative. It's never not there, okay? And that goes for all of these lenses, actually. They're hardwired into your reality, into your system, into your biosuit, okay? They're never not there. They're always there. It's just that we are blind to them because of the different beliefs that we hold and attitudes and perceptions that we cling to and grip onto, okay? So then what precedes this, the outer nesting doll for a human, for a standard human, empowered human in this 3D realm is to have this whole ladder opened, and the top of the ladder is 9D. You can say it's the top of the ladder or the inner nesting doll. It's both, okay? It's the outer and the inner. And this is the Madre de Dios, the Mother of God, the perception of the Mother of God, the great empty before there's something, okay? Now, all of these lenses are within the biosuit, like I said, and we are blind to them most of the time until we start waking up. And when we start waking up, even then, you know, as we wake up, we'll realize that there's a lot more beyond the center of the Milky Way galaxy. There's a lot more beyond the void. But you only are empowered, engaged on those levels and those dimensions if you have all of these handled, as in they're open and integrated into your everyday experience. So it's not something you visit, it's something that you live and you breathe. Okay? So each of these are hardwired into your reality. And then let's break down the 4D a little bit so we can talk about our topics. So what we need to understand, nope, can't see that. That's a bad place to put it. All right, I'm going to do this. You know, I have a great big whiteboard, one that's like 5 times bigger than this, that will take up the whole wall. I'll have that up again. I'm changing where I film things, so I don't have everything set up yet for that. But I'm excited for when that does happen, because then I can stand and write this on a great big whiteboard. Okay. So at the very base of this triangle, it's just a little bit off camera. This is the 1D. This is the core of the Earth. Then we have the telluric realm, and then we have our 3D space. Okay. Everybody with me so far? This is describing this relationship right here, the 1, 2, and 3. And then you have space. And then we have a canopy, which is the 4D field. This is the field of our belief systems. This is the field that really decides what we perceive, what we think, okay, how we relate. This canopy dictates so much of our reality to us. Even though it's only one rung on the ladder, it is the predominant voice to our mind, to our ego driver sense of reality. Okay, it's the primary voice. So let me go closer to this 4D. Okay. So everything that comes from these higher dimensions, soul memories, okay, soul memories, ET communication, interdimensional relationships, angelic realm relationships, the Galactic Federation kind of relationships, and the great mystery of the all that is and nothing at the same time. All of those of who we are, these are all essence of who we are. Our perceptions only perceives these levels of who we are after it emerges through the 1D field, the 4D field. Okay, that means as soon as we come in contact with that energy and we can give it a story, now we can touch it with our minds. Okay, and so all this is downloading, streaming to us constantly. You guys can feel this. There's times when you're just sitting at peace and all of a sudden you feel like, download happening, right? So a lot of this is us reaching to us for whatever purpose. Usually it's to, awaken something within the soul or a transmission and encodement to help open up the body or something like this. Maybe open us up to communications to other aspects of who we are in the galaxy. There's a big spectrum of why those downloads happen. Okay. But the big piece here is that our minds, our ego driver, cannot go into something that's new and never done or seen before. Our ego driver can't do that because literally everything your ego driver hears, sees, okay, and experiences, everything, your ego driver compares it to something that has happened in the past. Okay, it uses the past to reference what is right now. And if there is no past story, no past experience, no past conclusion to help us connect, help our ego driver connect with something in the unknown that's in the here and now, we literally can't see it. We can't engage with it. We can't be in relationship with it. Okay. So this whole thing that we have going on here in the 4D field is quite literally a prison of perceptions, a prison of thinking we know what is. Okay. When we are absolutely positive that we are right about something, That means we are blind to whatever may be out there that will show us something different. Okay, it's just how it is, the ego driver. Great news. The great news is that we are far more than our ego driver. We are all this. This is the truth of who we are. We are infinite. We are infinite beings with no beginning and no end. This is just one of a gazillion incarnational experiences of who we really are. So we have the capacity to connect and make contact with all these aspects of who we are. We just can't do it with our ego driver. Okay. What part of us can come in contact with these aspects of who we really are? Our emotional body and our dream time. Those are the two vehicles we have as a being in a biosuit. Our biosuit is hardwired to have all of these lenses as part of its reality. Okay, so it's quite natural for us to engage in all these levels. It's just our ego driver has been trained to be the exact opposite of what we need to gracefully walk within all these realms, because we are lied to about who we are. Okay, we are trained to fear. We are trained to protect ourselves. We are trained that this is an unsafe place, that it's a place of, we're trained with all these manufactured thought forms and ideas. And that has created an imbalance within humanity, which means, the part of us that is actually in command is the part of us that we're most out of touch with. And the part of us that is most out of touch is the part of us that we're most in command with. Okay. So humanity's reality is getting turned upside down right now because all of these lies are coming to the surface. We're realizing it's all a bunch of bullshit, and nothing says it louder than the New Age spiritual hype. Now, there's all sorts of things that we have going on about that, right? So like the Y2K thing. The Y2K thing was crazy. Like there was a computer glitch that's going to end the world. Really? A lot of people totally believe that. Absolutely. Okay. And prepare for it. And it forever impacted how we record dates in our everyday lives. So now we're not allowed to have a 2-digit year. Everything has to be a 4-digit year, right? We all of humanity got trained to change that. So now, what kinds of forces out there can actually train all of humanity on the globe, right? Think about, let that sink in there. What's going on with that? But there's other hype. There's the Ascension hype. I remember the first time I heard about Ascension, it was in the 90s. Me just getting into this work, it was all in the beginning of the 90s. So that was the perception that I was introduced to. And I was like, wow, 2012, that's so soon, How is humanity going to ascend? How is that possibly going to happen? And it felt impossible to me at the time, quite actually. But now where I'm at now, I'm realizing most of us have already ascended. Most of us who are here to ascend have already ascended. It's just the idea of what we think ascension is does not match to what it really is. Okay. And I'm going to build more on that argument. You'll see. Maybe you'll resonate, maybe not. We'll see. Most of us who are oopsies. Ha ha ha. All right, hold on. I need to get back to, because there's another piece of that yeah. Okay. So when we are, this 4D field is quite literally a manufactured reality. It has it's anchored by synthetic time. That's our calendars. That's our clocks. Okay, that's even the astrological systems. These are all times, mechanisms of recording and measuring time overlaid on our reality. And when we do that, we start creating particular perception in our engagement of our reality, right? So the 4D field has many layers within it that overlays our engagement. Consciousness grids is another big one. Consciousness grids, there's like a gazillion consciousness grids anchored within this 4D field. Just imagine for a minute where you are right now in the land that you are right now, the landscape. Okay, there are consciousness grids for the smaller community that you live in, and then there's a consciousness grid for bigger communities, and then there's a whole bunch of in between. Okay, so there's like, maybe if you have a family that owns a lot of land and it's a big family, now your family is maintaining particular kinds of consciousness grid over a large area of land. Okay. So these grids, though they're unseen, they have a big impact on us in the here and now. And people feel it even though they don't know that that's what they're feeling. In fact, they are most powerful when you're not aware that that is what is impacting your experience. Okay, these consciousness grids. These consciousness grids get anchored in with backwards, upside down, inverted energy, inverted ideas, upside down realities. Okay, so when we are doing when we're liberating certain areas of consciousness grids that are ready to go, usually what's the kinds of things that are anchoring down those grids are inverted pyramids, inverted geometry. Like when you see the geometry in the light, it's one way, but then when you see it in the way it's anchoring the consciousness grid, it's another way. Okay, that kind of inversion. These are the kinds of things that we're waking up to. Now, all these lies are woven in with the truth. So it feels like we get interested because it feels like there's a truth in here. But then, when we're not paying attention, or we're, maybe, really invested in certain ideas, we miss the part that's a lie that gets slipped behind it. So there's a trick, the secret. There's a great secret here to opening up and liberating yourself past the 4D grid. You guys aren't going to like it. Well, some of you will. Those of you who really have a strong idea of what is right and what is wrong, those are the ones that are not going to like what I'm about to say. Because remember, everything is a lie woven in with the truth. So there are always levels of truth to be acknowledged, okay? And it's truth because it's a truth for you. It's not because the mouth that it came out of is an authority and they are the ones who always speak the truth. That's absolutely not the way it is. We are in charge of our own compass. We have to listen to our own compass. We have to sharpen this compass because everything out here, right, is not good or bad, right or wrong. And none of it, if is reliable. Right? Because everything is colored by a belief system, by a thought, by a perception that is influenced and contaminated and purposely manipulated. Yes? Okay. So the way we wake up out of the 4D madness, how we liberate ourselves from this blindness, is by being able to see and experience the opposites as being true. And this, my friends, is the brilliance and the curse of the great reversals. Okay. And what I mean about reversals is that it's all okay. Everything's fine. And then all of a sudden one day, boom, nope, it's not okay. That idea is not fine anymore. It's actually now the exact opposite. Okay. It's like you have an idea of a relationship. You think it's great. Everything is going wonderfully. And then you just wake up the next day and it's like everything about it is wrong. You have no idea how that happened. Just all of a sudden it happened, right? Now that experience has opened you to questioning and having other ideas and thoughts as possibilities that weren't there before when you thought it was all right. We have these stories of reversals woven through our mythology and our cultures. And there's a few stories here. So you guys remember the Matrix, right? The great Matrix trilogy. Remember the character Morpheus? Morpheus was such a standard. I mean, he was a cornerstone of strength for the team as they moved through what they needed to move through in that hero's journey of liberating themselves from the Matrix and then liberating other people, right? But then they found out that the Oracle was not what they thought they were. It was that the Oracle was actually part of the Matrix. And then they had to decide if she was to be trusted, right? So Neo goes on his journey and does everything he's supposed to do. And then nothing that was supposed to happen when he did that actually happened. Okay, and it was because he made a different choice. So he came back. And that character Morpheus, who was so confident and so sure that Neo was the one and that was what he needed to do, and that was the way it was, and then having it play out and realizing none of it was the way he thought it was. Okay, he became a different man at that moment. He was no longer the one that was a cornerstone of strength. He was still a cornerstone of strength, but in a very different way. Okay. He was vulnerable and showed really clearly how this reality that's not a reality anymore was impacting him. These are the kinds of reversals we experience in the awakening process. It's because we get caught in being right. We get caught in this polarity field of being absolutely sure that it is right. Okay? And so this game of good, bad, right or wrong, left, right, up, down, black, white, male, female, all of these narratives, all of these perceptions are blind spots for us. When it's polarity thinking. Polarity thinking is wearing blind spots because you can't be present for something that you won't accept as being so, right? So this continues to happen, and it's going to continue to happen. I mean, I'm seeing it happen everywhere here and now in the 2020s, and I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to unfold for people to wake out of, because people need to wake up out of the manipulation and hype that's fed to them. Because that hype is a manufactured reality. It's not true. It is not what's right in front of you. Okay, it is a story given to you with the intention of slanting your belief system about an event. Okay, that's what hype is. That's what it does. It's all a manipulation game. And if you find yourself living in the future attached to what is yet to come, you're missing the point. The point is about the now. You have to be in the now to take your actions. It's your actions in the now that bring you to that next step. Okay. So having an idea of what's in the future, right, that someone has channeled or given you or whatever, part of you really wants that to be true, but it doesn't mean that it's what you are doing right here. Okay. How you feel and how you be right here is the only reality that matters, because right here is where you're taking your action that is deciding your trajectory. Okay. So it's great to have a communication with a galactic alliance or something, and they're saying, oh, this is really great here, and there's going to be this here and that there. That's helpful because it'll help you get a little clearer on perhaps what you want and what you have a yes for. Okay. In that way, it's useful. But to have something off, that energy off there, dictate your perceptions and therefore your actions in the here and now, it's a disempowerment program. Because, right? How many times have we heard mass disclosure coming? You guys remember Magenta Pixie back in I think it was the early 2000s. There was going to be this mass disclosure. The motherships were going to come over the different cities and they're going to reveal themselves. And it was this huge deal. Everybody was excited for it. We wanted it, right? We all wanted that to happen. That would be awesome. But then it never happened, right? So yeah, that could be an alternate timeline reality. That's right. It could be. But what I believe, my personal belief, what was missed was that information was meant to influence actions that were in the here and now, and that were in more of the now kind of thing versus holding a vision for something in the future. You see what I mean? So the ascension narrative, there's lies woven in with the truth. The truth is we feel like there's a shift. Something is happening. Right? That's something we all are saying, yeah, something is happening. What is happening, right? That all depends on what we can actually perceive right here, right? But if you're right here with what is happening, it's like the flavor of the moment is now informed from the inside. And what you truly want is where your intention and actions are, like this. Versus in reaction to what's happening out here. Out here is poisoned mind control, manufactured reality. Out here is stuff that's trying to dictate to you your actions. when really the strength and the sovereignty is when your actions are dictated from what's inside, like this. This is what manifests the dream. This, acting from this place, is the difference between destiny and fate. Okay, let's go into that. Divination. Divination is an awesome tool. Most people that I see use divination because they want the future told to them. They want to have an idea of what's to come, like this, because the unknown is really scary, right? But what they don't realize they do, and I think the readers also do this and don't realize it, that when you're doing this, you are being told, you're being told via synchronicity and outside, something on the outside, a reference point that is on the outside of what is likely to come. Okay. And when that is something that's told to you, where are the actions? Where are the present moment, what being present with what is real right here, right now, taking action on that? Where do you find that information in that divination? Okay. Being told what's likely to happen is only useful if you're also defining, getting clarity with what is happening in the here and now, getting clarity of what is actually right in front of you so you can take appropriate action according to this. Okay. So fate is writing that manufactured reality in that jumbo jet, right? You go here, you go here, you go up, you go down, but pretty much the trajectory is going to be in the same ballpark. That's fate. So using divination tool in that context is giving you a heads up on what's to come, what to expect, right? Oh, you can expect something like this. You can expect something like that. Yeah. It's being told to you as you're on that jumbo jet. Flying through time in the helicopter, lots of maneuverability, up, down, backwards, right, everything. Divination used by someone who's piloting their own helicopter. Divination is now used to give you clarity for what is right now, so you can be clear on what you want right now, so you can take that action that's going to affect the now and the future step, the step that's going to rise in the future. Okay. So when you use divination in that way, it's an empowering tool. It helps you navigate to your destiny. Okay. Navigate that helicopter through, in and out, up and down, different timelines, different realities, universes, to the destiny that you right here are calling for. Okay. So there's a big difference. So decide. A lot of people, the idea of getting off the jet airplane is terrifying, because now you're not accepting the manufactured reality. You now have to take responsibility for your own reality. Okay. Right. So that's a major aspect to going into multidimensional sovereignty. Okay. This isn't what dictates your reality. This is my timeline in the planet I live on. The frequency I live within all comes from right here. This is my reference point. I claim my reality with this reference point. Therefore, I have a whole different spectrum of choices before me when I reach certain impasses, because I'm saying yes to flying that helicopter. I don't want a manufactured reality. I'm not a trained poodle. Yes, I'm not a trained poodle. Trained poodles ride the jet airliner. I am flying the Apache helicopter, which means I'm a wolf. I am the one who decides. I am the one in charge of my destiny. Yes, things will happen that are in the unknown. Yes, trials and tribulations may occur, and I have no doubt that I will show up for them when they do. Okay. But again, in each of those moments that I'm making my decision, I'm making it from my sovereignty, okay, not from my programming. Okay. Hopefully this is making sense. All right, darlings, let's check in with what you guys are talking about. I know I get rolling and I don't look at the comments here. All right, darlings. Hello, darlings. Hello. Profound. Thank you, Christina. All right. I remove the I No, I'm right. Profound. I see so much more now. Okay, now that says Facebook user, but I think that that's Ben talking to me. I recognize your tone and the way you sound, the way you say things. Hello, darling. Welcome, welcome. Our dear sister Christina says, became aware of a better consciousness grid and made my way there. Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, so those consciousness grids, a lot of them are falling away, but some of them are really anchored in because people are just, gripping on even more tightly to what they know because of what's happening up. Oh, dear brother Raphael says, you're fabulous. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, darling. That's really awesome. All right. Dear sister Lisa says, this is exactly what I digested some time ago, confused and shocked at the time to be free from associations. I can feel the distortion of storylines siphoning off life force energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. That's really big because, that's really big. So our sovereignty and what this is, we are quite literally going into the new. So we are not about repeating the past or going back to the past. We're going into something new that hasn't been done before. So that means our ego driver cannot be the one in charge. Our ego driver is not the one that can fly the helicopter. The ego driver is the one that's comfortable in the jumbo jet, right? So with that ego driver having to take a back seat, there's a lot of melting away of who we think we are that needs to happen. And the more you do that, the more freedom you start to experience in this 4D field. You're more open to seeing the opposite, seeing the reversals. And then once you see the reversal, once you see the opposite of what you thought reality was about, and you see the opposite is so, even though it's shocking, you are now liberated. Okay, because now you have a whole nother perspective available to you that was not there before. Okay, and that is exactly why I'm saying, behold, the worlds of inversions and reversals are about to unfold. Now, these are all things that, when I say about to, I mean it is right now. I've already seen it in the dream worlds and manifesting here in the 3D. And it's a big wave that's just going to go right through the collective. It's like in the process of going right through the collective. And we have to have this. It's painful. It's shocking. Yes. And it wakes us up to a whole nother reality of who we are. And we are able to take off the blinders en masse to see things that really are, so we can make different decisions. Because right now, all of our decisions are dictated to us, right? Republican or Democrat, right? Okay, in person versus mailing, left versus right. I mean, we have all these games that are totally games. None of them is the truth. These are all delusions that make us think we are having choices, right? But we're not. No matter who you vote for, rich and powerful people are going to win over the well-being of the little people. I think we can all agree on that, right? So that is really where the conversation is, but that's not the conversation that's allowed in the bigger arena, because that's something that will wake us up. So the conversations are always steered, they're always manufactured, so we stay within the sphere that they want us to stay in, they being the ones who control the narratives, right? So we need to go through witnessing these reversals and these inversions, so we can let go of everything that we think is so, because what we've been taught is a lie, and wake up to what really is. Because what really is giving us a different spectrum of choices than what's being fed to us. Okay. Now, the thing about things being fed to us, this is important, because life is easy when things just getting fed to you. You don't have to take responsibility. You don't have to take risk. You don't have to go into the unknown. It's comfortable. It's the trained poodle. The poodle is so well trained, right? And it's really good at doing what it does because it likes what you're doing for it, right? And I mean, a lot of people are okay living their life like that. The problem is, and where it gets really super messy, is when you start taking that kind of attitude into the spiritual realms. Because there's all kinds of beings in the unseen realms, and they all have their own nature. Okay, it's like being in the jungle. If you don't know the nature of the jungle, then you're not going to be able to be in harmonic relationship with the life forms of the jungle. Okay. You're going to be potentially prey, someone's lunch. Yeah. Okay. So the unseen realm is like this. It's like a wild jungle. And a lot of people who are conditioned to be those trained poodles take that training into the spiritual realm, and they instantly, well, almost instantly, they end up adopting some sort of master, some sort of deity that, let's say, they become a concubine with, right? You love the deity loves you. Together, you guys do this amazing work. And now you've been adopted. You're a poodle that's been adopted by a better master. Okay. But when you wake up to your multidimensional nature, that kind of relationship is not satisfying at all. That kind of relationship is stifling and quite frankly, horrifying to think that is what's happening. We want our sovereignty in that we are the ones who decide. We are the ones who decide that we're here. It's not because we're caught in karma. It's not like, you know what I mean? And when we leave this biosuit to go into the other realms, we are the ones in charge. We are not looking to be allowed into something. You know what I mean? We are the ones that maintain our trajectory. We maintain our intention and what we're doing, where we're going. Okay. So these layers upon layers of disempowerment, humanity is going to wake up out of. So we're going to wake up out of the hype, the manufactured narratives and that manufactured choices, the things that create the jumbo jet experience. We're going to wake up out of the God poison, which is, we're lowly sinners that, we have to bow and subjugate to another being in order to be granted our divinity. We're going to wake up out of that. Right. And then we're also going to wake up out of the interdimensional interference that's happening on this planet. And the interdimensional interference are beings that are coming to this planet and experienced by other human beings and are told that they're deities or that they're, they're higher beings than the lowly humans. And they need to have this, honor that kind of relationship in order to be granted their sentience, or not sentience, their ascension or whatever. We got to wake up out of all those levels and recognize that our infinite nature is within us, and our biosuits is this amazing experiment gone right. Our biosuits are designed to house that infinite nature, so we can be all of this and create the 3D experience. And the 3D experience is something of beauty, of creation, of expansion, of discovery, of adventure. That's the true nature of 3D, when we're all being the truth of who we are. When these control systems reveal, we have the opportunity to look at them, see the scathing truth, and then open up to something else. Those of us who open up to something else, we're going to have a whole spectrum of choices to be making in the here and now. Those that want to keep the blinders on are just going to remain stuck in that kind of jumbo jet reality. Okay. But since we can feel it, we're moving into a different time, a different age. The rules of reality are shifting. As multidimensionals, we can feel this. The rules of reality are shifting. The value systems are shifting. And this, for us, is supportive of the kinds of energies we hold. And for those that are staying in the blind spots, this energy is not supportive for that. So this is what's going to die away. Now, a lot of humans are checking out right now. And it doesn't matter if it's from a virus or a jaguar. It doesn't matter. It's time to come home, because that's the time your spirit has chose to come home. So there's all these lies being spun in that 4D field that are trying to dictate to humans and predict what their choices are going to be, so they stay on a particular manufactured track. Okay, but the fact is, death is more powerful than most people realize. Once people start taking responsibility for their own dying loved ones and their own dead, that is going to wake them up big time. Control systems no more. That's how powerful death is. It's a great awakener. And as humans on a collective level experience their dead and dying more, like in person versus shipping them off to a hospital or a nursing home or whatever, that is going to be a huge awakener. Alrighty. Let's see what we got going on. Dear Polly says, oh, you always amaze me. Thank you. Thank you, Polly. It's very sweet. All right, dear sister. All right, Soul School and Group says, is this why I have never been able to retain info from books, etc., but have always known because it's what comes natural to me within? Why do we doubt ourselves so much? Yeah, because we're taught that we're wrong. Everything that we think is wrong, and we're sinners and don't belong in nature. We're taught lies that are against the truth. The truth is we're interconnected. And what you're saying there, right? So retaining through reading, this is through a linear filter system, right? There are people who have abstract brains that, we process abstraction much more easily than the linear. And that is considered a learning disability, but really it's not, because those linear, the books and words are actually confining the ideas and confining the mind. Okay. So in some ways, if you're really closed down and not in have access to dream time and other kinds of realms, a book can be very liberating. But that when you're learning information from inside, you are learning through a straw. And if your digestion doesn't fit the spectrum of that straw, you're not going to be able to learn that way. I learn from dream time as well. I'm very similar to you. So what I would do is I would actually take my books, place the intention of absorbing the information, the frequency, and even coming in contact with the author. Okay. And I would put the book under my pillow and I would dedicate dream time to the information, the vibrations of those books. And that is how I made it through school. And that includes passing the boards. So, and I almost never studied because linear reading and taking it in doesn't work for me. But the taking it into dream time and placing that kind of intention, digesting the frequency, totally worked for me. And the really cool thing is that if there was something super important for me, for my ego driver, for my mind to know that I didn't already have digested, someone would just come to me and talk about that material. Someone in the class, like over break or whatever, would just come to me and start talking about the different things that they were studying and different questions that they had. And I would totally learn in that conversation from them about that particular piece. All right. And usually what would happen, it would become relevant because the test was about to come. And that was one of the questions on the test. So synchronicity was my friend, or still is my friend, but I was able to just let that happen and surf the synchronicities to make it through the trajectory I was on. So really, it's okay to quite literally invent your own way of making it through this reality. Why not? Right? Why not? If you don't like the way other people are doing it, do it your own way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, dear starshines, if there's any other final thoughts and questions, go ahead and put them in now. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up because I have to get going. We have baking to do and cooking to do. It's really funny. We're empty nesters, but we still enjoy doing that. So it's just something that brings us a lot of joy. So that's what I'll be doing after this. I'll be making some savory and sweet dishes to share with each other. Okay, so what last piece did I get? So I got to the divination piece about using divination to get clarity on what is in the now, so you can be clear on your choices, see past your blind spots to be clear on your choices, versus having it tell you what the probabilities are, informing you what's to come while you're on the jumbo jet. And then the revealing of all the reversals and inversions. This is in dream time as well, guys. And you can tell an inversion because, all right, your relationship to it will be like this. And then all of a sudden it'll be like a blink of an eye. It will now be like that, and those inversions are really, really important moments to make sure you pay attention to, because something completely unknown is revealing itself right before your eyes. And when you can really allow your presence to be with that, you will wake up out of so much of this 4D field, these blind spots that are within this 4D field, and you will know yourself on these levels even more in a more integrated way. You know, I hear all kinds of things coming from these different levels, and because enough of my blinders have been shed, I can just relax and allow things to move, and as it's moving and integrating, that is when the understanding arises from my inner knowing, and now my mind can touch it after it's been integrated. Most people want to understand everything before they integrate, and unfortunately the ego driver isn't capable. Your feeling body is capable. So using your feelings in those data sets is how you would navigate what to allow yourself to integrate with, what not to integrate with. Okay. And yes, the hype. Manufactured reality. Now you know the trick to stepping out of it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. I love talking about these things with you. If you decide that you want to dive in and into the multidimensional work more deeply with us at the Lightbody Academy, we offer the Dreamtime Healing Project and the Healer Acceleration Lab. These are two programs to help enhance and unravel your blind spots and your psychic intuitive abilities and your ability to connect with the dream realm and create from that space. So if this is something that resonates for you, I encourage you to check out our website, lightbodyacademy.com. We are currently taking registrations. We only have a few more spots left. So if you're resonating, definitely check us out and keep in touch. All right, darlings. Mwah, mwah. I have to go. Bye. Take care. Oh, I'll get to all those comments too.